Hey everyone, it is Tony Will. I am so excited for this episode of Women In, but before you meet my guest, let me tell you what you're listening to. Women In is a podcast that celebrates women from all walks of life and the people who uplift them. Each episode features incredible voices from my world, sharing stories that spark inspiration, challenge the status quo, and remind us that empowering women empowers everyone. This is a bold, curious, and uncensored space where disruption is welcome, forward thinking is encouraged, and change is the goal. I'm passionate about breaking down barriers, not just for us, but for the next generation. Whether our paths cross professionally or personally, these conversations matter. Let's dive in and celebrate the power of connection, growth, and the people who are shaping our world. And this woman is definitely one of them. Rachel Martin is a lifelong learner who has spent the past 16 years at the crossroads of education and technology. As an education executive at Magma Math, a K-12 math solution that celebrates the creativity of mathematics, she helps public school districts celebrate the creativity of mathematics and the impact it has on every student's future. When she's not talking numbers, Rachel is chasing her two daughters, Fiona and Monroe, around the garden with her partner in crime, Drew. She's powered by curiosity, taking on big challenges and ice cream, preferably all at once. Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm so good. This is so exciting to have you on.
Very fun.
All right. So I ask my guests all the same first question. Usually it's around how does it feel to have your bio read to you live and in person, but we'll skip over that one.
Okay.
Tell everyone how you and I first came into each other's lives.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking back in preparation for today's conversation, and about 11 or 12 years ago, I actually moved to Kalamazoo. I'm from the East Coast, from Virginia, and I had been living in Massachusetts at the time, and before I moved to Kalamazoo, I registered for a small feat of strength called an Ironman, and I had never really done much in triathlon. I think I had done one beforehand, and when I moved here, I had no plan, no training buddies, no friends. So I joined this group in Kalamazoo called the Tri-Cats. And after I completed my first Ironman, I said I wanted to give back and be a bigger part of the club. So I reached out to the president at the time, which happened to be you, because they were looking for a web coordinator. And we actually met at Water Street for a cup of coffee, I believe, to talk about the position. And it's just history from there.
God. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Downtown Water Street, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, I remember that now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just feel like you've always been in my life, even though I know that's not true because you moved here. But yeah, I totally forgot.
Did I have any qualifications to run a website? No. But I thought, let's just do this. Let's have some fun.
Well, and as I recall, because this was a long time ago, as I recall, you did a really great job with the website that you didn't know what to do with.
Yeah, I had some fun. It's kind of like running membership a little bit, and we would get together as the board and plan fun events, and we would all go to do triathlons together. Mm-hmm. So we actually did the second one that I did, which was in Cozumel, Mexico, which was a lot of fun. So kind of grew our friendship from there.
Yeah. So at the time when you met me, I was not Tony Will. I was Tony Daniels, yeah. So you knew me at a time when so it's interesting, my podcast guests, because most of them, some, but not, you're in a minority that, even though Josh and I have only been together 7 years, that didn't know me as, you knew me as Tony Daniels.
Exactly.
And so
and we would do book clubs and stuff at your house, I recall too, and lots of similar passions and interests from the beginning.
Totally. Exactly. And so our relationship has grown over the years. Well, and it's kind of like there was a while there because I got out of triathlon and you did too. When did you stop? What year?
Same here. So I started traveling quite a bit for work, and it was just a little bit difficult to give my all to the club, and I wasn't really doing as many triathlons either. So I had kind of quit that, and I think we both kind of were doing our separate things. COVID happened. I decided to have a couple of humans added to the family, and then I personally wanted to make some changes in the past year or so, and I had kind of kept up with some of the things you were posting, and I was really inspired and interested by it. So I reached out to you to see if we could work together in a coaching capacity, which is kind of how we rekindled the flame, if you will.
Yeah, and we've been together, it'll be a full year here in January. coaching. It's coaching / friends. And it's been awesome to see your growth. And I have learned so much from you from in a lot of ways. I mean, first off, you and I, we have so much in common, but we're kind of at the opposite end of parenting right now.
Yes.
And that's been so interesting to me, just seeing how you navigate being a career driven mom and your travel and balancing that. I totally get it. And then you're just innately driven. I mean, when you do an Ironman, anyone that has, and just if anyone's listening, so like, what are these two ladies talking about? Okay, an Ironman is a triathlon. It's 3 discipline sport. An Ironman itself is 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and then a marathon directly after, which is 26.2 miles. You add all that up, it's 140.6 miles, and you have 17 hours to do it. And so you've done 2.
Yes.
And I've done 2, but we haven't done the same because
No, they were separate ones.
Yeah.
The first one I did was Lake Placid in New York, and then the second one was Cozumel, Mexico.
Yeah. And that Mike, my second husband, did that one, but he DNF'd.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You didn't DNF.
No, I did not.
For anyone who needs to know, is did not finish. I did Louisville, Kentucky, and then Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yes.
And so what I'm basically getting at is we're badasses, but
or unhinged in some kind of way, and the boundaries need to be really set very clearly for us.
Well, we're super driven, and so that moves over into how we are working moms who both travel a lot. Your kids are, your daughters are young, mine are all adults now, but it's tough. And I've really admired your drive, and so I want to dive into a lot of what your bio is about, which is what you do for a living. And so you take it from there. I know I read it in your bio, but it is essentially selling math to school districts and helping our students become better at it, because I know we were going to talk statistics too, because I'm just so fascinated by this. So I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so I've always spent my career in education technology. I actually started from the continuing education perspective, working with the learning management system. I then progressed to working in higher education, from the administrative, kind of connecting students with potential colleges that they were working to go to. And then my most recent career is with a company called Magma Math. So we're a K-12 math solution. And our big focus is that students have to show their thinking in order to solve problems. It's a Swedish-based company. We actually started in 2015, and we've been in the US for almost about 3 years now. So I joined the team pretty quickly after they came here to the States. My former colleague and boss at the previous company called me and said, you have to be a part of this. This is really exciting. And for me, like you mentioned, being a mother and having young children, it was just really applicable to what my goals were and something I was passionate about, that I could impact all students. Especially like as somebody that, I was a little bit nervous about math when I was growing up and had a little anxiety around it. And I thought, if I can be part of a movement where we're trying to make kids feel comfortable about math, to show them that everyone is capable of being really strong in math, it can change the trajectory of their lives. So the company is doing really well here, and it's a big honor to be part of a team that's so passionate about helping kids in this way.
There's not one part of me any day now where I am on, like, I'm not that I don't know what people are, but I'm going to handle this spreadsheet right here. This is part of we're building a new arena here in Kalamazoo, and these are pricing models. And so I'm on my phone, on my calculator app, and I'm thinking of you, because every time I do math now, I think of Rachel. I mean, I too, I'm glad you said this. Like, I didn't consider myself very good with numbers. I struggled with math growing up. I was an excellent reader, and writer, but math was hard for me. I used to have tutors. I just felt like not good enough. And so to hear that you felt the same way makes me feel like I'm not alone. But we use math all the time. I remember thinking, I'm not going to need to know how to do this, but I use it all the time in business.
Yeah, it's wild. So growing up, like, my dad was an engineer, so he would actually build the landing gear on aircraft carriers, super great at math. And I always remembered, like, trying to do homework, getting frustrated almost to the point of tears, if not tears, when I couldn't get something. And it just felt in my mind like, oh, he just gets math and I don't. But meanwhile, he had gone to school, he had gotten his graduate, his master's. He had really worked hard to be good at things, which I've always felt that way in my life, that I can be as good as I want, or I can do anything I want if I just work hard enough to get there, hence the triathlons and other wild adventures in life. But I think if we kind of change that conversation around math within classrooms, that we can really open that opportunity up for a lot of kids. Because to your point, finances, doing things day to day in your life, like, you can really avoid falling into some pitfalls, and you can feel and kind of take some strength and empowerment over chasing a career that maybe math is a component of. So I think it really is important, especially when we see the state of math here in the US, where 3 out of 4 students are not proficient in math. And it's something that's been happening since 2012. The pandemic, of course, has ratcheted that up quite a bit, but it is our duty to really help kids understand math and help to really provide an opportunity for them to be proficient in mathematics.
Yeah, it's just as I've learned a ton about what you do and how you sell and where you sell, it has been really interesting because these statistics are real. Yeah. And so I guess there's two sides to this. I'll talk about the business side in a minute, but is there something parents can do to help this if they're concerned about their school district? Can they help you make your job easier?
Yeah, tell all your friends about Magma Math. That's for sure. If you're going to do anything out of today's podcast, go ahead and do that. Yeah. I think honestly, it's not a Magma Math versus any other solution type thing. I think honestly, what parents can do is a mindset shift, in that there is no such thing as a math brain. You would never say, oh, you don't have a reading brain. Like that, just no one's like, oh yeah, give up on reading because you don't get it. This is something that you can learn how to do anything. And what's really cool about math is that you can learn how to read by doing math, which is not the same for learning how to read. So encourage your kids to love math. That number one, there are so many cool ways to solve problems. Math is a creative subject. It's just another language that you can learn how to do. Additionally, it's okay to get things wrong. Like if you fail at it, if you get it wrong, that's okay. Let's learn from what went wrong, because sometimes it's just small tweaks that people have to make, or maybe they're on to something, they're just thinking in a different way. So I think really just encouraging kids to have fun in mathematics, and that maybe it's okay to have that productive struggle, that you might have to work a little bit harder, but you really can get there in the end.
Yeah, I'm just loving what you're saying about this. Never ever has anyone said, oh yeah, you don't have a reading brain, just give up.
Exactly. Yeah, but we do that with math all the time. I've had like arguments with family about it actually, where how could you kind of just dismiss something? I feel like I personally believe, and I think that this is something that we share in a lot of the things we do in life, that if I want to do something, I'll figure out how to do it, and I'm going to make it happen, which is something that we have to instill in kids from a young age. And what's also really nice about Magma, a big focus that we have with kids showing their thinking, is that we're creating this habit. So younger kids will start off where they're showing their thinking, or maybe they're not, and they're doing it in their head, and they're still getting things right, which is all fine and good until we get to more complex math where you cannot do it in your head. And if you haven't solidified this habit of showing your thinking at a younger age, trying to both learn how to show your thinking alongside understanding this complex way of doing math is going to be something that's going to set you up for failure. So it's super important to build these skills as a young student so that you can be successful in algebra, which is really important to your effectiveness and your ability to actually get to higher education. So by completing algebra and being proficient there, you're going to open up so many more doors for success for your future.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to me. So how do you apply this work, say, to your daughters? And they're young. So is it the mindset piece right now because they are younger?
Yeah, so I think I always try, they have to love math. They don't get a choice because I work for Magma Math. Mm-hmm. So that's probably just their future in general. But on a lighter note, we, just trying to make it fun. Like math is a fun thing that regardless of what you're using, whether it's physical manipulatives and counting things out, really showing how you're getting to that solution is super important. Also telling them that they can find success in mathematics. So it's really interesting how teachers have an impact on how students learn. And I've done a little bit of study on female students specifically, that if they have teachers, especially in elementary, where sometimes teachers have started working there because they love young kids, they love reading, but maybe they themselves are not that passionate in math. If they're female teachers and they don't feel comfortable in math, it dramatically impacts their female students within the classroom. So just little things like that. So me, even if sometimes I'm feeling not confident about doing math, I always try to provide confidence that, hey, maybe I don't know the answer. Let's figure this out together. So I think it's really that attitude shift of showcasing that females are really good in math, which will impact my daughters. And then also that, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. Let's figure it out together. I think those are two big things that I really try to instill in my daughters.
Yeah. Well, they're so lucky to have you and your hubby, because we all live in Kalamazoo together. We were talking off air that I had coffee with her husband yesterday. I think he sees me more in person than you do.
Exactly. It's just not fair.
We'll rectify that.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's talk about the sales approach, because this is where you and I spend a lot of time together, working together. And you guys already had a really stellar approach, and you and I have really just been kind of diving in and stripping it apart and fine tuning and looking at it from different ways. But talk to everyone about the sales approach at Magma, because it's very what I would call forward thinking, as someone who's led leadership or sales teams my entire career. So I think some of the stuff you guys do is super cool. So wherever you want to start with that.
Yeah. So I'm really fortunate to be part of this team, and I'm really passionate not only about what we're doing with kids, but also to be part of a team that's really wants every person on the team to be themselves. We are silly, we work hard, we play hard. And what I mean by that is, like, I can approach anyone on my team and provide feedback on how we can do things better, but everybody is always trying to bring their A game. I think it makes it really easy when we're all really passionate about what we're doing, that we all want the best for both students and teachers in the districts we work with, that we all want to do the next best thing. So from a sales perspective, we're trying to grow as quickly as possible. And where we've found success is that we are connecting with district leaders, because a lot of times it's easier to go to those decision makers to get buy-in, to get understanding of what their goals, maybe what their pains are that they're experiencing, and then they can bring the appropriate parties in to evaluate Magma Math. But the way that we're doing that is being really authentically who we are. So we wear crazy suits to every conference that we go to. We wear bright colors, because you will walk into these conferences and you will see blacks and grays and beiges and grays and all of those fun, not fun colors.
Right.
And we are just like disrupting what people are visually seeing, which it will blow your mind how comfortable people feel just coming up and talking to you, because they think, I guess if this person is wearing a bright, wild color, they want to talk to anybody, and they're, open to it, which has been great from the strategic selling side, that there's no barrier to having really great conversations, and it also makes it really memorable for the people that we're speaking to follow up. I will be on calls with people who I've never met before, and they're like, oh, you're the crazy people in the wild suits at conferences. Like, we're starting to get this branding and recognition based on how we're presenting ourselves in person.
So tell everyone where they can get these suits, because they because I'm like, this is, Rachel and I go to a lot of different conferences, and we're in totally different worlds. Like, and we live in the same town, but she's in mathematics as sales, and I'm in sports. And you see all these vendors and everyone in sports, like, listen, I'm just going to level. Like, we all look like a bunch of douchebags. And so it's like, to stand out, but everyone's really nice there, but it's like, we all look like corporate frickin' America, when sports is fun and it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Math is fun. And how to get out of one's ego, to be like, oh, I look silly in this. So tell people where you get these from, and then like how do you all have that mindset, especially because you've got an office that just opened up here in Michigan and Grand Rapids, and you've got new people coming on board. How do you figure out if they're going to be able to hang with this? Because it takes a bold personality with some courage to wear some of this stuff.
Yeah, like one of our founding and core beliefs is that math is a creative subject where the journey to the answer is usually much more exciting than the answer itself. So I feel like we have to be about that, right? That we're fun, we're creative, and like that's the vibe, if you will, that we're bringing to every experience that we're having. So that's really important for us, and like really delighting people when we're together, that we are like going above and beyond and thinking of things outside of the norm and activities that we're doing. Now, in regards to these suits, so we started off with utilizing a company called Oppo Suits, which pretty good. The men could find really great suits, and I was like, you know what, I gotta look somewhere else because I need something that has some more options. And I'm not sponsored yet, but Fashion Nova is actually the location where I get most of my wild and crazy suits. It seems that most of the females on the team have found some good stuff. They are work appropriate, but they're just bright and colorful and fun. And I think it just allows people to kind of be themselves. I think we work with an audience that is just trying to help kids learn. Like, it is such a joy to be able to sell to somebody that just wants to do good things for kids. So the people that we're working with are extremely approachable too. And they want to make things fun and silly for children. And when kids are having fun and they're feeling joy, they're going to learn that much more. So why wouldn't we provide that environment for the people we're working with too?
Well, imagine if you're a teacher and you're wearing some of these outfits, and the kids would probably love it, on the age. I mean, if it's a 12th grader, they'd roll their eyes, but if it's like a first grader, they'd be like, oh my God, my teacher's so cool.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's fun. All right, maybe Fashion Nova, give Rachel a call.
My first sponsorship ever, I would love it.
So you have a growth mindset, big time. I mean, like, you hired a coach, an awesome coach at that,
yeah.
but you
only the best.
Only the best. But I want to talk about your growth mindset and how you've applied this at work, even before you hired me as a coach. But like, if someone is wanting to learn and love learning, and you're selling that too, through
Right.
math. So where does that come from? Have you always been this way? What are some ways that you continue to learn and grow? And how has that helped transform your life personally and professionally? Boy, I just shot a lot at you.
Yeah. Okay. So, So I have always personally been someone who loves to learn. I love self-help. I love just kind of making sure that I'm leveling up my game. I think for me personally, like, I've grown really well. I've had a lot of great mentors that I've worked with who have like kind of lifted me up throughout my career. But I think like having children and becoming a mother, it kind of almost reshifts where you see yourself in the world and like what is important to you. And I think like I've expressed to you many times, like there's sometimes a battle of serving everyone in your life in a really impactful way. And I think through my role with a lot of travel, like you mentioned earlier, it's hard to find a balance of showing up for everybody 100% all the time. And I ended the end of last year just feeling like I wasn't the best I could be in all of my relationships. And I wanted to spend 2025 in a way that I really was focusing on improving as a person, as a mother, as a sales professional. So I wanted to hire a coach. And I have always kind of been resistant to this in the past. Like in triathlons, I would do everything on my own. I would get a book and I would research it and figure it out. Like everybody else was smart. You guys would get coaches.
I love that. Sidebar, I love that you did that. You're like, I'll figure it out, because that's how I live my life. I'll figure it out. But
yeah.
When it came to an Ironman, I was like, no, I need someone.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I started an Ironman was actually another Will in my life. His name was Dave Will, and he was the CEO of the first startup I worked for. He's an amazing human. And he walked into my office one day and was like, you should do an Ironman. Let's go register for one. I had never done any triathlon ever. I said, get the hell out of here. Like, what is wrong with you? But he kept coming into my office and he kept asking me to do an Ironman. So he like kind of wore me down. And that's why I registered for doing a triathlon. But I kind of just figured it out as I went. And I do that with quite a few things in my life that I think if I want to learn how to do this, I'm just going to figure it out and kind of grit and bear through my mistakes and make it out on the other side. But I thought, you know what, I think it's the time that I want to really dedicate myself to making these changes, and I know that using a coach really will help me get and move in that direction. So that's when I reached out to you, and I knew that personally I wanted to work with another woman, a mother, because I think you're able to speak in a way that is a little bit different from experience, and have empathy for kind of what I'm going through, which is why I wanted to work with you. I knew I wanted to work with someone that like didn't have, oh, you can't do that mentality, that really thought, hey, yeah, if you want to do this crazy thing, I'll be right there with you to figure it out. Let's do it. So that's why I definitely thought of you. And honestly, like your presence and how you talk about not drinking was also something that was very interesting for me. I knew that that would be one habit that if I challenge myself in the year, it would make everything else easier. And I knew I wanted to kind of have that challenge. So that's kind of why I went to look for a coach. And you were definitely the key individual. And I wish I had done it earlier. I would recommend to anybody who's looking to make changes in their lives that like using a coach is such a great way to focus your attention and to 10x your progress, if you will.
I'm gonna have to edit this part out, not edit it out, but just what you were saying about me, because it's pretty awesome.
You can send the check after this.
I'm going to be sponsoring you. So I got to do something really cool yesterday, which I've mentioned once already, but and I don't know if Drew talked to you about this. So Rachel's husband is Drew, and he and I had coffee because I'm speaking on a panel that he's moderating and putting together. I don't generally get to talk to the significant other of those I'm coaching. And so I just said, hey, I don't think you'll mind me asking this, but what have you noticed with Rachel this year since we've been working together? And he sat there for a second and he goes, Tony, she is just kicking so much ass. He is so proud of you. He was like, it is night and day. I don't know if he told you that we talked about that. Did he tell?
He didn't tell me all of his side of things. He said that you were very kind.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it gives me chills because I was like, and what I told him was, I said, I get it. Being married to someone like her, I get it because we're a lot alike, and it's with the support of how your husband is and like how Josh is to me, we wouldn't be nearly as successful without them. And I wanted him to know that. And it was really cool that I was able to ask him that, just to see his perspective. And he said, and I don't want to quote because I don't want to put complete words in his mouth, but the not drinking thing, he goes, she stopped doing that. And I mean, she just took off. It was just crazy. And he's really impressed. So it's pretty cool that, you have so much great support, but that you took that step to say, I want to keep growing and I need someone outside of me. Because I even have a coach. Like we think, like, oh, I'll figure it out. But the people that achieve the most have someone from the outside who's not emotionally attached to their outcome, help them sift through what is life and these personal and professional goals. And that's what you've been doing.
Yeah, so to your point, Drew's amazing. It's actually our 16-year wedding anniversary today, which is really exciting.
Oh, happy anniversary.
He's my rock. He like you mentioned, we can't do anything without like the support, especially with two young girls. Like I mentioned, like being on the road, he holds the house down and makes sure everybody's alive. So he's a very important person and just such a good supporter. And I think like just in using a coach, it really allows you to focus your attention. And what I really find valuable too is you can just ask questions. Like sometimes you have these lenses or filters, if you will, when you're talking to other people in your life based on what their role is. Maybe they're your boss, maybe they're your spouse, where I feel like with a coach, sometimes you can kind of just really express or think through all your different thoughts so that when you do have conversations with these other people in your life, you're like thought out and you're more structured. And maybe you get rid of that rough edge that would not present very well when you're talking with them. You can kind of hone your ideas, which is really impactful in, moving your agenda and really empowering you to get to the next step of what your goals are.
Yeah. And one of your goals is, in a sales role, is revenue generation. When did you hit your annual goal this year?
In the middle of the year. So my whole, which was, I think our big hairy goal at the beginning of the year was just to like hit my quota by by June, and I think mid-July I had it hit. So that was extremely exciting, and I think it just restructured my mindset of how I do set goals, that going for something a little bit further than you think is possible, even if, and we've talked about this, even if you don't hit that goal, if you land a little bit below that goal, it's probably way further than you would have anticipated if you had set these small goals to begin with. Which is, it just opens your mind up to like seeing the progress that I've seen this year, like what else can I do, which is slightly terrifying because who knows.
I know I can't. I don't want this year to go too fast, but I kind of want to see 2026, Rachel.
Right?
Because it's pretty cool. Okay, I don't want to get off this drinking thing real quick. What would you say is the best part of, and that surprised you about taking this year to not drink? Because you're not saying forever. I still don't say forever, but
Right,
right. What's been the best surprise that you didn't expect?
So one of the big things, especially with my role, I'm like always like hosting, and we're hosting events and going to cocktail hours, and there's always opportunities to drink. And I think what's really become clear too is just like the bad habit it becomes, that there's no really reason you're doing it. It's just because you're at an event or it's the end of the day, like the habit that goes alongside drinking, that just if you restructure that and don't include it in your life, it just becomes like, why was I doing this? How is it serving me? And I think when I think about, oh, am I going to drink again? Like I would really need a compelling reason, because all the benefits that I'm seeing and how enjoyable it is, like I love sleep. And having really great sleep is probably one of the best things in life, and that might just be dating me a little but I've done the whole I'll sleep when I'm dead, and that doesn't really work out very, very well long term. So I think like just being able to have no excuses to accomplish the things you want, like life is hard enough. Showing up as your best self for your kids, for work, for everybody, for yourself is hard enough. Why are you actively sabotaging it by not feeling even that much better in everything you're doing?
Yeah, it is. It's surprising, like what it's. I don't know. I don't want to say the little things, but because we're sleeping better, then our days are actually easier, even when we're faced with some serious challenges. So, because it's midlife and there's shit that just happens. So it just does.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I'm going to we talked about 10X there for a second, people like if they've never heard of 10X, but what books would you recommend people that are in sales or just looking to grow professionally? Maybe they're not in sales, but I always argue this, everyone's selling, whether they think they are or not. So
so when it comes to like, we've had the opportunity to read several books together, which has been really enjoyable. The big ones that I like you mentioned, 10X is easier than 2X, because it just really reframed the way that I set goals and thinking about what I need to not do to accomplish them, because it's so easy to get distracted or to focus on things that are not valuable. I am actually going to reread that book with my team, and as a way to focus on what I want to do for 2026, because I think it really strengthens your ability to accomplish things when you're not getting pulled away into side projects that are not valuable. So I think that's a really big one. I really liked Likeable Badass. I thought that was great just from a female perspective, understanding almost how to make engagements with people, implementing the out of office that they recommend within the book, where you're a human. And I think that's so much like working with Magma. A lot of the things that we are talking about is just like being authentically a human being is so much more relatable than just being this professional that no one is connecting with. So using like all those little moments, and in that book she references like, send me a picture of your dog or cat, text me this. And I've gotten text messages of dogs and cats, which is super fun. Or I will get people responding to my out of office. They're saying, I love this out of office. They're like, of course you guys with the crazy suits have out of offices like this. So the ability to use those things, share them with other people. I like Atomic Habits, obviously, because that's just setting up your day for success, and Hidden Potential, which talks a lot about the education and the joy of education. And then if I have to plug a math book, we are big fans of Building Thinking Classrooms here, which you can see in my backdrop, where it's really just focusing on kids thinking instead of mimicking, and showing that work and getting excited about the mathematics too.
Yeah, I know another. I'm going to throw one more on there because Drew and I talked about it yesterday, and you and I've
Oh yeah.
talked about it. Mentally Strong Kids
Yes,
by
yes.
Daniel Amen.
Mm-hmm.
For those parents out there that are raising, because your daughter, remind me how old the girls are?
4 and 5.
4 and 5. They're little, so it's a good time to read that. And I've heard a lot of great things from both of you, but other people as well.
Yeah, and I think that also tied into to like the not wanting to drink as well, in that I'm a role model for two people at home and really kind of shaping like what they perceive reality to be and what is healthy and not healthy. And that book actually talks about that, especially with his focus on brain health. I would definitely recommend that book to any parents, that how you engage with your kids and the environments that you're setting for them and just protecting their brain health for as long as you possibly can, how important that is. And I think that was also another reason for me, choosing to not wanting to drink that much, or, not like girls. And I'll also say a book that we're reading right now is The Ultimate Sales Machine, which has been really great from the sales perspective. Yes.
Look at me, I got it right here. I'm listening to it on Audible, but my staff is reading it now too, as you know, because we talk about
Yeah.
this stuff. This is a really Chet Holmes, R.I.P. Chet, but it is a good. It's an awesome book. So.
Yes. Agreed.
I got to ask you one thing because I was thinking this. So you and Drew, 16 years married right now. The girls are 4 and 5, which means you guys were together like 11 years before these girls came along. How
Yeah.
was that transition?
I mean, we were having a great time, and I think we were thinking, I don't know if we need to have kids. We're dinks. We're living our best lives. And it got to the point, I think that really what made us think, we both lost our fathers in a period of 2 years. And I think instances like that and experiences, you really realize how important family is. And that, like, these funny times you have, or even the hard times you have, no one understands you like your family. And just these experiences, we thought, all right, if we have kids, this is going to be the hardest thing we've ever done, because we're both the babies in our family. So we saw our siblings with their children. We were like, they are working hard, which is maybe why we waited so long anyways. But we were thinking it's going to be the hardest thing we've ever done, but it's going to be like the funniest and the silliest and the most loving thing we'll ever do with our lives. So we went for it, and we're doing all those things. It's very challenging. It's like we mentioned with travel, like leaving my kids is very hard, but I think being a strong female role model and them seeing how awesome their dad is and helping them out is important for them. They are very goofy and sweet and silly too. Like, I think I would never have this many belly laughs if I didn't have them in my life. That is kind of what we're experiencing, but I think especially in this journey over the past year, really focusing on enjoying every single day. Like, the highs can be really high, maybe the lows are a little bit, but it goes so quickly that you really have to hold on to every minute, because soon they're going to be ignoring me.
100%. They'll be my age thinking they know it all.
Yeah.
And they don't know anything. But hey, whatever. So who are the women in your life that have shaped who you are now, Rachel?
Yeah. So I have an amazing mother. She was a nurse as her profession, so she's always taking care of other people. She was a fun and silly mom growing up too, and we always did fun crafts and activities together. So someone who just really invested time and love into me. I also have a badass sister. She is also an Ironman as well. She has 4 children, so I don't even know how she accomplishes all the things she does, but she's the oldest sibling, so she tells all of us where to be and what to do and make sure that we're, performing to our best. So she has also been really instrumental in my life. I think my community is really important too, especially like calling on our neighbors and our friends to help with making sure our kids are taken care of. I also have a lot of strong female friends that are just killing it in life. My best friend from when I was younger, she's a doctor who helps. She's a gynecologist. She helps with women's health and reproductive rights, which is super inspiring. So I just believe, like, surrounding yourself by like-minded people and trying to bring out the best in each other is extremely important. I'm very fortunate in that.
Yeah. So on the flip side, how do you lift women up?
I try to really just always be a good sounding board. I always find that I want to listen and not tell people the answers, but really maybe help work together towards a path of growth. I try to do so for my colleagues and for my friends, and just like congratulate them when they're doing really well, or maybe encourage them to pursue whatever crazy wild feat it is that they want to conquer, because yeah, that's my jam too. So I think those are the things that I try to do for other females in my life.
Yeah, for sure. Are you gonna ever do another Ironman?
Who knows? You never say never, right?
Oh, I'm never doing one again. Two was good. Wait, I need to know, do you have an Ironman tattoo?
No.
You didn't
I
get
have
one?
no tattoos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, I did get I don't know if I ever showed you, but I did just I wrote, that's my handwriting. So this was the first one, and the second one I did was 144.6 miles, because Chattanooga, you had to go around the river, and so it added 4 more miles to the bike.
Oh my gosh.
So it was
That's just not right.
116 mile bike. But when you sign up for it, I mean, you would get this. I'm like, what's 4 more miles when you've done 112?
You might as well go for it. It's 4 more miles though.
It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked. 4 miles sucked every single freaking mile. So you didn't do the tattoo, but there are people, we know a lot of these people. They got these honkers, and
Yeah, they do.
I'm hardcore judging them.
Maybe later in life, when I do my next one, maybe I'll talk about getting a tattoo if I ever do another one.
So before we wrap up, if anyone's interested in like training for a triathlon, and you did it like right out of the gate. You went from 0 to Ironman. Like
I did try a half Ironman and Olympic distance before I did. So I registered for an Olympic to try it out. Then I did a half Ironman, and then I went directly from that race to volunteer at Lake Placid with said boss, and we volunteered, and then we spent the night there, because back in the day, you would spend the night and you would be able to register first if you were a volunteer, because these would sell out like crazy. And so we spent the night there and then registered, and I had never done like a full or anything up to that point. So,
but when you're there, they get you because you volunteer, and it just the adrenaline, and you see all kinds of people doing this. You're like, I can do this.
Yeah. Oh, and you see like 70-year-old people running across the finish line, and the thing that gets you is, you are an Ironman. Like the whole crowd is yelling when you go across the finish line. It is an unparalleled experience for sure, and it like gives you the chills if you're not doing it, and it's just extremely, like, I was crying when I was watching other people finish. It was really a beautiful thing to see.
Did you cry when you finished, the both of them?
I don't know. I think it's funny. Speaking of Drew, I would go up to him after and I'd be like, never let me do this again. And then, of course, 3 weeks later, I'd be hanging out with a bunch of other punks, and we'd be like, let's do another one and register for something else.
Yeah, I have to catch myself. I think I was telling you this when we were coaching. Like, Josh and I ran a 5K this year. This is the first race I've done since Ironman Chattanooga, which was 2017. And I said, do not let me sign up for anything after this 5K, because I know me. Sure as
it's
shit.
Addictive. Yeah.
I'm
and the
like,
peer pressure. Whew.
I'm like, and he goes, Tony, and I was like, Josh, wasn't that fun? I probably used the word fun like 17,000 times in 3 days. And he's like, whoa. No. And then I got past that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was. See, look, here I go again. It was fun.
Let's register for something right now.
Let's do it, Rachel. Well, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. This was it? You were a first timer, right? If I recall correctly. Shoot,
I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea what to compare it to. Hopefully,
you nailed it.
Okay. Okay. Good.
You nailed it. It was awesome. If people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
LinkedIn, you can always reach out to me. I try to post us in our crazy outfits as much as possible. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, I'd love to connect.
Awesome. I am not hard to find either. The hockey side of my life is at kwings.com, and then everything related to all the coaching and my book and the podcast and TEDx is all at tonywill.com. And I'm on social media too, so just put in Tony Will and you'll find me on all the platforms now, because I have help with that. I went to an expert. So I'm even on TikTok, y'all. It's just crazy. Well, there is Tony Will out there, but Tony Will isn't doing it. So... But you'll see me, but just know it's not me. Okay, anyways, until next time. Thanks, Rachel.